I'm Raewyn from Cakes by Raewyn, and today I'm going to show you how to do a bow, a very simple bow. I call it my bodgy bow because there are no templates. It's something fast and easy. You don't have to make it ahead of time to dry, and you'll be able to utilise it in all of your projects. Okay, so the tools that we're going to use today are just here. If you don't have any of these, it's fine. You can improvise. You can really do this with just a rolling pin and a paring knife. So I have some gum paste, or you can use fondant with Tylose in it, rolling pin, a scalpel or a paring blade, some skewers, Dresden tool, my favourite tool, don't live home without it, paintbrush and some edible glue. Nice and straightforward. Okay, so we're going to roll out our gum paste. We want to make it really thin so that we get a very realistic fabric effect. Okay, so we have our gum paste or our fondant rolled out nice and thin because you want it to look like fabric. You can see how thin that is. Okay, so depending on the project you are working on will dictate the size of your bow and also the length of the tails on your bow. I'm just going to pop a bow on the side of this dummy today for you, so my tails are going to be about that long. Okay. Right, so now we're going to cut our tails, and it is just really straightforward. Don't be too fussy, just cut it with confidence. You do the bottom on an angle and straight across the top on both pieces. So as you can see, no great skill involved. Just cut it like you mean it. Okay. Now, with all my fondant pieces, I always smooth the edges out, especially if it's supposed to be fabric. There's nothing worse than seeing something that's supposed to look like fabric and it's got that big square edge on it. So even if you've had to do something quite thick, you can still make the edges look delicate and soft. Okay, so then once we're ready to go, we turn it over and we're going to just pleat that so it drops to make it look like it's got movement. And then we're going to pop that in place on our dummy. Just like that. Get our other piece, we do the same thing again. You can use glue, but today it's quite humid, so I'm finding that my fondant is actually, my gum paste is actually sticking to itself. Okay. And this piece also on the dummy. Okay, so you can see the way that drapes. Okay, so now we have our towels in place and just a little bit of edible glue behind them to anchor them into place, so you've got that nice flow effect. And now we'll move on to the main section of our bow. Alright, so now we're doing the main section of our bow. Again, no templates, very straightforward. You're going to make 2 ovals with flat ends. Don't stress, don't fuss. Bows aren't perfectly symmetrical. Just try and make them around about the same size. And don't forget your little square for your knot in the centre of the bow. Alright, so now again, remember we're going to flatten the edges. If you find this difficult, just put a little bit of shortening on your finger and run it around. Not too much though, because you don't want to soften your gum paste. Pick your piece up, again, same thing, we're going to pleat that edge. Use a little bit of glue this time. So pleating, turn it round, a little more glue. And then I'm going to put those two edges together and pinch. Okay, so that was nice and easy. Get a little bit of glue on our bow. Bring our piece across. And we'll just pop that in place. Now you may need, depending on the humidity, you may need to put some cotton wool or tissue inside there if you want it a really puffy bow. Mine's sitting quite well today, so I'll just leave it like that. If you find it starting to flatten out, just prop it up. I'll do the same process again. Edible glue. The edible glue I use is just Tylose and water. Everyone can make it at home. It's very cheap and easy. And always pick your best side. You will have a good side and a bad side. Okay, let's pop that in place. Fluff that up a little. And then we will move on to our centre knot. Okay, so this is the centre of our bow. This is a little bit fiddly, but it really makes all the difference if you take the extra few minutes to get this right. It will really make your bow look realistic. So a couple of skewers or toothpicks if it's a tiny bow. Just pop the piece across. This one in the centre, push down. This is just to give you those lines that you get, the folds of a bow. And just press to make that mark. Okay, so you can see that. Flip it over, a little bit of edible glue down the sides. Fold that over so you don't get the raw edge. Doesn't have to be perfect, remember it's a bow. We scrunch it up. Then we put our edible glue in place underneath and in the top. We come along, we get our Dresden tool, pop that in there, push that up with the Dresden tool to secure it in place. Then up and around, secure it in place at the top, and then just remake those little overlaps. Tidy it up with your Dresden, and there you have Raewyn's bodgy bow. Nice and easy. You don't ever have to worry about pre-making bows again. You'll be able to make one in a couple of minutes, just as your clients are about to arrive at the door.